Did you want to be famous when you were a kid?
Bachpan se. I was 3. If I don't get the claps and all that, I'll start crying.
Do you believe in love?
Of course I do. Nothing is worse than getting married to someone that you don't even love and living with them for years.
You see that around?
Come on now.
Most of the people in our industry are doing that nonsense.
You're speaking the truth.
People are okay to talk shit about me all the time, and nobody thinks about how I feel. You think I don't see what they write about me on Reddit? Reddit is wild. They say the craziest shit about me.
Both men and women need to realize that they need each other.
Yeah, this idea of like, I don't need anybody and feminism and not. I don't believe in this shit at all. In fact, I think feminism f***ed up our society.
It's very cool that Nora Fatehi is saying this.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to disagree with me. Like, your comment section is going to be like, she's old school, she's a hypocrite, etc. I'm not.
Because as a guy, you assume girls are really sweet.
Girls are not sweet. Whoever told you that, don't be naive. In the real world, we bash men because, like, we have this thing where it's in fashion to bash men and be like, men are all assholes, and a lot of women are crazy.
You know what nazar is?
Yeah. Some people look at you through envy and hate and jealousy. When I've met other stars, they are inherently predators. Here. When they start to use as a way to bait you into war, they sniff out victims. But my personality is a little intimidating. They kind of get a little bit like, Arey, iske saath nahi. Because she could talk.
Sometimes right after a podcast is recorded, my entire team knows that we've just recorded a blockbuster piece. This is an epic conversation with Nora Fatehi, who I believe, especially after this recording, is one of the Indian film industry's most misunderstood and misrepresented people. I feel people don't know the real Nora Fatehi. People don't know what it takes for someone to leave their home country and set up a flourishing career in another country over the span of a decade. I truly believe that the most interesting people that one can meet are people who are completely self-made. And if you're someone who's self-made outside of your geographical comfort zone, it adds layers and layers of personality. Lots of fun, lots of perspective, lots of serious talk on today's conversation. You're going to enjoy one of the best free-flowing podcasts that we've created on TRS with the epic Nora Fatehi. Welcome to TRS, Nora Fatehi.
Thank you.
What's up?
All good. How are you?
I'm good.
Is this okay if I bring it close?
Yeah, be chill. If you want to eat here, if you want to meditate here on the show, it's all...
It's giving me meditation vibes here.
Yeah.
So
we meditate in this room as
I
well.
love it.
Yeah. I think if you meditate in a room, like it changes the vibe of the space. And this is where all of our work comes out of. So the space is very, 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 very special. And you just made it more special.
Oh, thank
with
you.
Your presence.
I love it.
What's happening in life?
So much is happening. So much. You have to be specific because I could go and blabber on for the next 7 hours.
Go for it.
So much, yeah. I mean, like, I'm a workaholic, so I'm constantly working. Every day I'm running around. I feel like it's nonstop for me. I'm at a point in my career where I'm trying to balance between doing my work in India and my work internationally, which sometimes I feel like I have to split myself in half and be in two different places at the same time. But I'm having a lot of fun. I'm learning so much about myself. I'm maturing. It's just a lot. So much is happening.
What are you running towards?
Oh, I'm running towards my goals. I have so many goals and they're all there and I've made some happen already. I've reached, success at some point, but I have a lot of goals that I'm trying to fulfill.
You want to talk about them?
Yeah. I mean, so many, like, first of all, the fact that I've always wanted to do lead roles in films, right? So that's been like a 10-year struggle where I've been knocking on doors, trying to get in and, from doing songs, special features to small roles, supporting roles and climbing up those stairs. It's literally stairs. Some people, they get the opportunity to just go inside the lift and then And then some people take the escalator, which is faster than the stairs. The stairs is tedious because when you take the stairs, like sometimes your legs hurt and you have to like take a break and you're like, oh, it's too much. It's a lot of stairs. And then you're going up and the stairs get longer and they get longer. And you're like, okay, well, this is a staircase not going to end. So that is basically an analogy for this journey of mine. Staircase.
And sometimes as you're climbing higher, the goal gets higher as well.
It does. Sometimes you're like, oh, this is nice. So I actually managed to reach this. 10 years ago, I would have never thought, let me make my goal a little bigger, a little more tougher, a little more almost unattainable. And then when you attain it, you're like, it actually happened. So this is the zone that I'm in. That's probably describes my whole entire life.
I'm just really happy that the first time I'm meeting you is over the course of a podcast, because then it's recorded forever.
That's true.
What I like about anyone who's grown up outside of India is that I've noticed that even within the media world, you guys don't develop too much of an ego.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. And this is what I've seen with I'm sorry, I'm terming you as a foreigner.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm not from here. But the only thing is, so funny you said, I'm sorry, I'm terming you as a foreigner. There was a time where I used to hate that term in the beginning when I just came to India, because I felt that everyone who used the term foreigner would just typecast all non-Indians into one box. They're all Goras, and I'm like, wow. This is not it. I don't like this. And anytime they'd be like, oh, foreigner. And I'm like, I'm not a foreigner. I'm a brown girl too,
You could pass off as Indian.
I mean, I'm not. See, that's the thing. Foreigner means someone who's not Indian, right? But in our minds, the way it used to be used in the environment I was in, it was just like all European girls or all white girls. No offense to white people. I'm not like, it's fine.
Aren't you a white person?
I'm
also?
not.
Okay, no, okay,
I'm not. You know what I mean? And then I have to have arguments with people trying to explain to them that I'm like, guys, like I'm a brown girl. I'm a North African, Moroccan girl. And we relate to South Asians, just like, you Middle Eastern, South Asian, North Africans, they really blend together. They have a lot of similarities.
This is something Indians don't understand about the Middle East and North Africa until they travel there.
Until they travel, right? Then they realize, boss, both similar, and it's almost scary similar. And so I always wanted to educate people and be like, no, this is where I'm from. This is my background. We are very similar. All foreigners are not the same. And then when they hear me speak Arabic, they'd be like, Arey wah, those words are the same words in Hindi, or in Urdu. And I'm like, yes, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Kursi, kitab, a lot of things. There are a lot of things that are similar, but I like to focus on the similarities rather than the differences, which is also the reason why I was able to make it here, is because of the similarities and being relatable to the audience. They clearly saw something where they're like, boss, we can relate to her, right? But yeah, you were saying about foreigners.
So what I've planned for this particular conversation is actually more of a, again, don't mind me saying this, but it's like a foreigner's perspective in India. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this. It's not a typecast you, but as a media professional, you hear things about other media professionals, now, whether they're actors, singers, whatever. If you spend time in this industry, I'm sure you would have heard something about me. I've heard something about you.
For sure.
Whenever people talk about you, it's always with a lot of respect within the media fraternity.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of respect put against your name because of your hard work. And I've heard people say things like, oh, she's a rocket. So that was my only impression of you, honestly, from a professional perspective. I'm not talking about the front end. I'm not talking about what people see. But you know how if a footballer is seeing another footballer play the sport, you can see it from a different lens.
Right.
And that's what's always come through about you. And I mean, you're a perfect example of someone who's come up the hard way.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that's the core nucleus when it comes to going even further.
For sure. Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm glad. Look, that's a very positive thing to hear, because not a lot of people have, a good image, especially like stars. Our industry is really difficult, and in your face, this is relevant to stardom. Like people will see stars, media people will see stars, industry people will see stars, and they'll be like so nice to them in their face. And, oh, sir, ma'am, and you know, all that. But behind their back, they will say other things about them related to their personality, the way they behave, etc., etc. So it's very rare that you hear people say good things about you behind your back, even if you're a star, you know? And so when you're saying that this is the kind of things you hear about me, it's really nice.
You saw some crazy shit while growing up?
In my area, yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen shootings, we've seen drive-bys. Drive-bys is when someone's in a car, sticks their gun out and starts shooting out and then drives away. That's a drive-by. That's the term we use. We've seen school shootings where someone will come with a gun and, you know, there's a lockdown in the school. Everyone's hiding under their tables and the cops are coming.
Over what?
I don't know. I mean, gang wars. People are crazy. People are really crazy. Egos. We anyways have a massive gun problem in Toronto to begin with. So a lot of kids have guns for no reason. They have access to guns.
Did you have a gun?
No. I was very studious. I didn't need a gun. I have my mouth, my tongue. My mouth is a weapon. So, I mean, I attack with my words, unfortunately. And sometimes but not anymore. I'm a good girl now.
Seem very peaceful.
No need to lie. Not really. A little bit. Depends. I mean, I think I've matured in the sense where I'm trying to figure out what to let go and what not to let go. But yeah, you know, my industry is not an easy industry to work in. It's a tough one. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful. But you have to be constantly on almost... It's not like a fighter mode, but you have to be constantly alert, constantly awake, constantly figuring out like who to trust, who not to trust, who's around you. You have to be very protective over your energy, your aura, your around everything. You have to be very protective. And there's
you know what nazar is?
We believe in nazar. I mean, I think people who are in the public eye do succumb to nazar a lot, because a lot of eyes are on them, a lot of jealousy, envy.
What happens nowadays is if there is ever an event that I have to go for, and I try going for as few events as is possible because of this reason.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I get back from that event, I always have some ache or pain.
Yeah, that's definitely nazar. I mean, especially if you're someone, because everyone's aura is different, right? Some people's auras are more weaker than others, and some people's auras are more... you gravitate towards them more. And that's the difference between a star and a non-star, to be frank. It's an energy. So stars have an aura that make people want to look at them, make people admire them, make them aspirational. You know, sometimes you like some star and you don't even know why you like them. It's just like, there's something about them. That's their aura, you know? And that aura particularly, it grabs people's eyes, and not all people's nazar eyes is good. Not all people's eyes, when they look at you, they don't always look at you in good intentions. Some people look at you through envy and hate and jealousy and wishing bad on you. And that is an energy I genuinely really believe in. If it catches on you, it can make you sick. It can make you mentally disturbed. It can make you lose your sleep. It can make you, your body hurt. It can kill your aura down where you don't look your best anymore. That's where sometimes you feel like you're depressed. You feel like you have anxiety. You feel all these things come into play. It's an interesting topic, but it's definitely very intricate. If you go really deep into it, you'll realize that that's why a lot of stars struggle through depression and anxiety. That's why a lot end up being suicidal, for example, because when you have millions and billions of eyes on you and half of them don't even wish you well, and then you have your co-actors or your competitors plotting against your fall and wanting to destroy you because of their envy and their ego and their fear of you maybe doing really well, and they don't want you to do well. People can do anything to destroy you and remove you from the way, So
what's the Arab way of getting rid of nazar?
There's so many ways. I mean, it depends also what religion you're in. Like, for example, Muslims will read Quran, they will read Ayatul Kursi, they will pray, a lot of saltwater baths. There's also, depending on what culture you're in, there are ancestral rituals that are used to cleanse your aura and your spirit. There are many things that one does. But obviously, it's a very deep conversation. Yeah, it's a deep one.
You have a whole occult side.
Yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, someone like me has to be very, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, alert, aware, and educated about certain things, because when you are in the public eye, you succumb to all these things. It is what it is. I mean, a lot of people might not want to discuss this, and some people go, "Oh, I don't believe in this, and this is all nonsense." But that's just a front. All people believe in this energies and, nazar and whatever comes under the umbrella of this conversation. And we live in a country that people are very spiritual and people do believe in this stuff. And our industry is run through this stuff, to be honest with you.
What do you mean run through this?
In terms of being aware and educated about this and protecting yourself, because otherwise you will never last in an industry where here, Hollywood, the pop culture, anywhere where people's eyes are constantly on you. People are around you constantly. There's competition, competitors. This one wants to, be more bigger than you. This one wants to make more money than you. This one wants to rule. This one is scared because the other one is coming up and they're like, whoa, this one's coming up. What do we got to do to bring them back down? All these things happen. So when you're in the midst of this and you're aware of it, you start to realize the importance of protecting your aura and your spirit.
I've always wondered if someone can put nazar on you digitally, like through watching you.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
So
digitally, because
we've got some nazar absorbing things in the background.
I noticed. Of course,
for that exact reason.
100%, because the person digitally can see your face. They can see your picture, they can see your video, they can see your eyes. And the eyes is the gate of your soul, right? And how do people catch on to your aura? Through your soul and your spirit. So, of course, it's possible.
You're a very interesting person.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
Like, you have a lot to say. You've not been on too many podcasts.
No, because, it's scary. It's cancel culture era. So,
but you're being much more open here in this room than most Hindi film industry professionals or film industry professionals.
Well, because you're asking me certain questions, and I'm very spontaneous, and people who know me know that I'm an open book. I also have a lot here. If you ask the right questions, you'll get those certain answers. Some people don't care about certain things. They just ask me, kya chal raha hai? What's your next project? Then theek hai, so that's the answer I'm going to give you.
Who you're dating.
Oh yeah, no, who you're dating. Like, so, and it's ridiculous. And my answer is always nobody. So where do we go from there? But you got to ask the right questions. And it also depends on the theme. I guess for you, your podcast is about knowing deeper than just the projects, right? And actually, my question is to you, because you said something really interesting. So you come back from an event and your bones are hurting. Aap kya karte ho? What do you do? What do you do to help yourself get out of it? And also, what do you do to protect yourself moving forward when you know it's going to happen?
Firstly, I'll say that learning that you've picked up nazar is a skill. You need to know that nazar is on you. You usually feel very heavy, very drained.
Yes.
Or something starts hurting. Again, I'm talking from the perspective of fame. I don't know if... I assume that when someone gets married and there's a big wedding, that's where people would pick up nazar. As
For sure. Yeah. Especially a wedding, an event. If you're not famous, you're not in this industry. Like, we're just specifically speaking about our industry. But when you're not famous, you could go to a family function and you be looking amazing, and your cousin just like, so jealous of how you look and how beautiful your hair is and how glowing your skin is, and boom, So
that's nazar. Like, they don't know that they're putting the nazar on you.
Most of them know.
Oh, really?
Most of them know, yeah. Most of them know, yeah. Okay. It's got some evil people in this world. Most of them know.
The saltwater baths, that's my standard. I've seen that doesn't completely help me. What washes it off is if I go into the ocean. Like, if you actually go to the beach and go into that washes it off to a very deep degree. But at home, saltwater bath, do some mantras, meditate. But it's just time that heals it, honestly.
Yeah, but some of us don't have time. Some of us need to go back in front of the crowd. Some of us have to go back in front of the camera. Some of us have to keep going, right? We don't have time to, it's like a battery, when the battery has no charge left anymore, and then you got to charge it back up. Some of us don't have time to recharge again. So what does one do? It's a very good question.
Who had like the biggest gravity field around them, or everyone you've ever met in this industry?
I can't take names because I'd freak them out and they'd probably call me 20 times panicking. So I can't take names, but I can tell you that a lot of them have probably more than nazar and they don't even know. And they wonder like why their stomach is always hurting, why they have digestive issues, why their films are not doing well, why they are no longer, that shining bright star that they once were. They're doing everything they need. They're working so hard. They're doing the right projects. They're working with the right people, but it's not landing. Something is wrong. Like, oh my God, just 2-3 years ago, I was so happening. Everybody loved me. Everything was working for me. And now people look at me and they're like, wow, your aura is a bit dull. You okay? You look tired. Oh yeah, your projects are not doing well. It's just a phase. And then they notice they have a lot of problems with people around them. Maybe a loved one, maybe a girlfriend, a wife, or a boyfriend, or a husband, friends. Everything just seems to be crumbling down. And they don't know what it is until it's too late. And sometimes people get lucky and they have friends and family that advise them and open their mind and their eyes to certain situations. And sometimes people don't, and then they just suffer forever. And I feel really sorry for them because our industry it's full of that. A lot of people that I've been around, I've noticed, I can feel that they have that energy, which is unfortunate. I don't say anything because it's not my business, but
it's stained with nazar. That's what you're saying. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe what I meant by my question was who has like the
who would be more like sensitive to it
no,
most?
I meant who has the strongest aura. For me,
aura.
like, I'll answer it from my perspective. Maybe I'll explain my question better. At Baba Siddiqui's iftar party, I saw Shah Rukh Khan briefly, maybe for like 10 seconds. He walked past me. I've never sensed that kind
aura
of
ever.
Powerful
same.
aura around
Yes,
him. I felt like his aura, and maybe all this is in my mind, or
No,
maybe
it's not.
not.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
It was at least 20 feet tall and 20 feet wide.
Yes, yeah, I know. I understand what you mean. Yeah, I
Like
understand.
that heavy, and you see the body language and motions of human beings around him change when he's walking through a corridor, and he's very aware of it, and he enjoys it, and he walks
Rightly
through.
so, right? Of course, obviously.
This is what he worked towards.
Yeah, that's what he worked towards, and it's also God-given.
Yeah,
He didn't buy it from the supermarket, It's God-given. And when he became aware of it, and he understood the responsibility he has of it and what it brought to him, he understood how to carry himself with it. And it's beautiful. It's special. It's very, very rare also. I mean, we have so many stars in the industry, but a few of them carry an almost larger than life aura.
Do you think Shah Rukh Khan is probably in the top 5 most famous people in the world?
100%.
Right?
I don't think. I know. It's a fact.
Like while you were growing up in Canada, you knew Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Canada. Forget about Canada. Canada, we can say makes sense because it's a cosmopolitan place. We have a lot of Indians, a lot of South Asians. But all of Africa, all of the countries in Africa would know who Shah Rukh Khan is, be it Morocco, because we grew up watching his films, right? Be it a family in Somalia, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Senegal, in Egypt, in any of these places. These are all countries in Africa, in case nobody knew this. But yeah.
Oh, what are these?
Geography class. All of them would know Shah Rukh Khan, for sure, hands down. He is the ambassador of Bollywood. He's the ambassador of India.
When you were 7 years old, you didn't know you'd be in India, right?
No, of course not. I didn't even know I'd be in India when I was 18. Yeah.
What about Shah Rukh Khan and Hindi films attracted you in the first place when you were a kid? Specifically Shah Rukh Khan. Because for us, it's his charm.
It's
Like,
his charm.
when
And also the kind of films he did. They were family
romantic films?
friendly. You could sit at home with your entire family and watch them, which is very important because that becomes a cultural thing, you know? Like, for example, here in India, what are the two things people do? They either go and watch cricket or they go to the cinema, right? So it's like a cultural thing, right? We had watching films at home with family, and we couldn't do Hollywood films, right? Because a lot of them were not appropriate to watch with the family. At least if you come from a brown family, you know, like, you know how it is.
Cover your eyes during kissing
you know,
scenes.
we're not open-minded like that at all. So Bollywood films were safer. They were family friendly, and also they felt good. It felt nice to watch a Bollywood film because of the stories, you know, the drama, the sentiments, the values, and Arabs, North Africans, brown, like Indians, South Asians, we all share the same sentiments in the end of the day, right? And that's why films are made the way that they're made. And Shah Rukh did films that, you know, my grandma liked, my mom liked, I liked growing up. And we had that moment where we can all sit, you know, some are sitting in the sofa, some are on the floor, and we're all watching this small little TV, and it's Shah Rukh Khan. You know, so he grew up with him. You fall in love with the romantic side of him, the chivalry, you know, the gentleman side, and women love that. On top of that, the whole idea of song and dance in a Bollywood film provided a way of entertainment that was almost like escaping real life, you know, and it's just a charm about Bollywood that other films or other industries like Hollywood did not have. And you know, you gravitate towards something that you relate to. So we could relate to Bollywood films at that time because it embodied the same things that we had in our cultures too.
I mean, my core memory of Shah Rukh Khan from when I was a kid was not knowing the name of this person, but being very attracted to the way he acts. Like
he had an innocence in his face also.
I don't know her. Friendliness. I don't know what it was.
It's going back to energies. We were talking about energies. He has a clean energy.
Clean energy.
Yes, that's what it is. You can see it in his eyes. You know, sometimes you're like, I mean, Shah Rukh Khan is so talented. This has nothing to do with him. But sometimes you'll see like an actor or a star and you're like, I really like them. But they're not that talented. It's not like they have this crazy skill. But there's something about them, you know, the way when they smile or when their eyes, there's a sparkle in their eyes. That's because their energy is clean and their intent, we say in Arabic niyat, their niyat is like very clean, right? And
niyat saaf hai.
Saaf hai. So iske liye you feel like gravitated towards them. Some stars have that appeal, and some of them, when you see them, you're like, they're so talented, they have everything, but there's something about them that makes me feel weird inside, you know? That's because their energy is not that good. And their intention is not that good. But Shah Rukh Khan has that clean soul. And I look at me talking about him like I know him like that. I don't know him like that. I've seen him just a couple of times, you know. But I have a lot of respect for him because the couple of times I saw him, he was very respectful. He was very, very warm, very nice, despite knowing that he could be the 4th, 3rd, or 5th most famous person in the world, right? Or most impactful, influential person in the world. When I've met other stars who have not been like that, who've been very disrespectful, very mean.
Without taking names, what was the form of disrespect?
Just like, kind of like borderline bullies.
Like said something that's...
Yeah, their body language won't be very welcoming. Their facial expressions, their taunting, their jokes, their, you know, they'll say things behind your back also, and you get to know what they said, and you're like, wow, I can't believe they said that about me. And they have that entitlement of being bullies, and nobody will call them out on that.
Men or women?
Men. Yeah. Women is a different story. Women will try to kill you. Like, they'll try to kill you. So that's a different story. But men who are superstars, because we're talking about a superstar like Shah Rukh Khan, right? So if I'm going to compare him to anyone, I'll compare him to other superstars, right? So yeah, he's been amazing.
You felt bad?
Of course I'd feel bad. Yeah, of course.
The reason I'm asking you that...
Yeah, go for it.
Is because I feel even you have a clean energy,
Yeah,
but
thank
you're
you.
very sharpened up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah,
Going
for
back
sure.
to the
Yeah,
start. So,
yeah.
I think your clean energy would feel bad, but then your sharp energy would just be like, oh, okay, this is another.
Yeah, obviously, like I will cry for like 10 minutes at home. And then after that, I'd be like, girl, get yourself up. We have things to do. We have to take over the world, you know? So
I'm fascinated by like your experiences. I believe that to grow in life, you have to leave home. You've left a whole country. Like, it's not normal what you've done. It's very cool.
Thanks.
And despite, I'm sure you've seen a lot of shit while getting to this point. So my question to you is, did this happen recently?
What exactly?
Them bullying you?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Even now?
Even now. Yeah, even now. Because I'm intimidating in the end of the day. Some people don't get it. They don't understand. Like, how come her? Why not our girls? Why not this one? Why not my girl? Why not my, why her? There's so much of that happens and they get so angry and that they don't, also a lot of them don't like my directness. I'm very direct, I'm not like the other girls who would be like, yes, sir. yeah. I'm not like, I will come, I will joke with you. I will, you're my homie. I will tell you in your face if I feel like something is off. I'll be frank. I'll also be the most amazing person for you. I'll help you in anything that you need. I'm like going back to my hood, Jane and Finch, and how I was brought up in my friend circle, we ride with each other. I'm a rider, literally. Like, that sounds funny, but in terms of like, if you need something, I'm there, right? But at the same time, if you're effing up, I'll tell you. Or if I feel like something is weird, I'll say it. I'll be the one in the room who would say the most awkward thing. But some people, they don't like that. They prefer someone quiet, submissive, someone who looks like they really need work or they really want something. So then you give them the ability to be more powerful and to be able to have the control of certain situations. I don't give that to anybody.
And that's used by turning theory into practice.
Yeah, of course. Then they'll say things like, she's nothing, she's nobody, she's F-all, she's not talented, why is she here? That. All that happens, and then they see you again, with them in certain events, or they seem to not be able to brush you off. Wherever they go, you're there too. Maybe because you were invited also, or you're also doing the same job as them, or whatever it is, and it irritates them more. What is this? So they feel like you're slowly going up and reaching where they are, and they don't want that. So then they start to bully you, demean you, talk bad about you, almost to cover your aura with their negative blanket. And sometimes people succumb to that blanket and then they drown in it. And then some people like me would just like throw it off again and be like, all right, what's going on? You know what I mean? So,
are you okay saying these things on a podcast?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You're speaking the truth. You're speaking the truth that audiences know. You're speaking the truth that most media professionals know. People
Why
don't
not?
say these things
Why would I
openly.
not be? Look, people are okay to talk shit about me all the time. All the time. And nobody thinks about how I feel. You think I don't see what they write about me on Reddit? Reddit is wild. They say the craziest shit about me. I see the comment sections. I see the articles, the blind articles. I see what people say about me all the time. And I sit and I'm like, oh, they know I'm going to see this. And they never think twice about how I'm going to feel, my mental health. They don't think twice about whether it's real or not. It's false. I see the tweets. I see, these random self-proclaimed critics or self-proclaimed bloggers or whatever they want to call themselves. They go and they tweet things that are not right. They're wrong. They're lies. And that damages my reputation. And it makes people talk so much crap about me. And I can't even say, hey guys, it's not true. I can't even say that. I just watch it happen. So I see how they have all the balls to do that and they don't face repercussion. They don't get canceled. Nobody says anything to them. I know I have a very open personality and I'm very spontaneous and I'm an open book. So when I'm on a podcast, I talk freely because I want people to know who I am.
I can't even count the internet rumors that have spread lies about me. And at one point, I used to feel a sense of, why? Why this?
Where's this coming from?
Yeah, but I mean, at this stage, I have two phones. So one phone gives me the internet rumor.
Okay.
The other one shows me my numbers.
Yeah,
On
for
social
sure.
media.
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same way. On one side, there's
Yeah,
rumors.
of course, because I'm like, make it make sense. I mean, if I'm so horrible and I'm not talented and I've done certain things just to get the opportunities that I have, they explain the numbers. Explain the 1 billion, 1.5 billion, the 4 billion views, the 500 million views, explain the 46 million followers, explain the opportunities that I have been able to nail, explain the fan following, explain the young girls and boys that are crazy about me, explain all that, you know?
Has a big star crossed a line with you?
You have to be specific.
I understand the bullying thing, and that's also crossing a line. Has someone, I mean, I'm going in a casting couch direction.
Yeah, sexually, no. Luckily, I've not had that situation. But I know why, because I had this conversation with my friend the other day, and she was like, do you ever think about why that's never happened with you? And I'm like, yeah, I do think that it could have almost happened, but my personality is a little intimidating. So they kind of get a little bit like, "Arey, iske saath nahi." Because she could talk. These kind of people, whether they're stars or not, in the end of the day, inherently, they're predators. Inherently. Let's be frank, right?
Okay.
They are.
You're saying it doesn't have to be a star?
It could be a star, it could be a non-star, it could be anybody. But what I'm trying to say is when they start to use sex as a way to bait you into work and to make you submissive, right? They are inherently predators here, right? So those predators, if you look at how their brain works, it's very interesting. They sniff out victims. They scan you and they know your personality and they know which one to use and which one not to use to protect themselves. Like if you're a predator and you're about to approach someone, you're not going to approach someone that has a certain personality trait that could get you in trouble. Right? You'll be very smart, you'll be calculative, and you're going to approach the vulnerable one, the desperate one, the one whose personality is a little bit meek and scared. Sometimes, not all the time, right? Sometimes they get it wrong, their calculation is wrong, and they approach the wrong one who exposes them and destroys their empire. That happens. But most of the time, they know who to approach. And I felt certain moments where I'm like, this person might, but then they back off because they're like, nah, not her. Her personality is a little bit scary. And I can see it. I talk a lot, you know, I come with a certain aura when you approach me. When I walk into a room, I've never given desperate vibes at all. I've been in situations where I've wanted work, but for example, initial days when I first came to India, in 2013, 14, I think it's 2013, my dates are all over the place, but there was somebody who tried to put me in this situation of, if you want this, then you have to do this, and kind of corner me and put me in this very scary situation where I panicked and I felt alone and I didn't know how to handle the situation. I don't have to go into detail about what happened, but I do remember some switch in my brain came and I was like, hey, listen, you think I really want this that bad? I don't. I'm here. It happens. Great. It doesn't happen. I go back to Canada. I didn't come from some village. I go back from Canada. I go back there. I go back to university and I'll go back and study law or study teaching and become a lawyer or a teacher. And what? This doesn't happen. So what? So when you suddenly do that, because when I did that, I suddenly felt that person was like, oh shit, she took the power away from me. Now what do? I can't dangle anything because she doesn't really want it. So they give up, right? That's the situation I was in. Obviously, whatever advice or whatever thing I'm telling you is based on my life experience. I don't know, other people have different life experiences and different notions about it, but this is my take about it. So afterwards, moving on in life, whenever I was in a situation like that or I felt like it's going to happen, I noticed people back off because they're like, her character, personality, who cannot handle it for sure. And then I've had friends who went through it, and those friends of mine are a little more shy, a little more reserved, a little more quiet. And I felt like those kind of predators must have thought that they were much more not easier, but it's more safer for them to do what they wanted to do with them. Yeah, for sure.
See, I'm a guy, so there's only a level of understanding that I can bring to this conversation, but I'm trying to understand this further. from a girl's perspective. You're talking about your friends who are slightly more submissive or
Not
quiet
submissive, but like, they
vulnerable.
well, nice. They're just nice people. Sometimes I'm not that nice. You know what I mean? I can be a bitch. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I'm like, why am I like this? But I am. I'm like this. I come and attack through my words, through my demeanor, and it's just the hustler side of mine from back in the day. That's why I'm like this. But it scares people sometimes, especially these kind of people.
Because of that fear, I mean, if it's actually a superstar that's being a predator or a massive producer or a director that's being a predator, are there girls who unwillingly give in?
Yeah. Oh, listen. A lot of people be like, well, why did she go? Why did she meet that person? Or why was she wearing what she was wearing? Or why was she entertaining the situation? In the end of the day, whether you're a man or a woman and somebody proposes to you these kind of things in exchange for something, immediately you are put in a situation where you can't say no. And they know this. So most people, 90% of people that say that just go for it or do whatever they do, it's because they were not given a choice. And those people know they're not giving you a choice if they're saying you really want it that bad. You really need work that bad. You really need to, and it's not just our industry, Ranveer. It's in all industries, by the way. And not just industries. It could happen in the most random situations. And you're just like, people sniff out vulnerable people and desperate situations. And if you really need money, or if you need to work, or if you need certain things, and if they're saying it, you need to do this for this, automatically you have no choice. And they know that.
Couple of things that I want to say. Firstly, your 46 million followers on Instagram are also an armor.
For sure.
In terms of finance. Yes. And that's what a lot of young professionals need to understand, especially in media. Everyone's a content creator now.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I am too. I make money from YouTube. I make money from content I put out,
I pray that you get everything that you want.
Thank you.
But in saying that, even if you never sign a film, you're financially going to take care of yourself forever.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because... not just because of those 46 million people, but that's a massive part of your 100%. Finances.
That's why but here's the thing, Ranveer, like I'm going to tell you from when I was growing up, because you're just talking about Bollywood. I'm talking about even when I was 19, 18, 17, 16, 20, back in the day when I was hustling, doing all the jobs that I was doing, from working at McDonald's to working at a shawarma place to working at a telemarketing place. And I was doing double shifts to performing at people's events. I did everything, right? Even at that time, I met people who would try to corner me or dangle things in front of me and, be like, well, if you want this, then you need to do this. And that wasn't even Bollywood. That was just the streets of Toronto. You know what I mean? Like the most random place. So as a woman, now even as a man at this point, you will meet people who are at a powerful position and they use it to their advantage in exchange for something else. And you have to know how to behave at that time. So even at that time, I never allowed any of that stuff to happen.
You also probably need a radar.
But you build a radar, you develop a radar.
How do you pick up on predator energy?
It's a thing. It really is a thing, especially if you're in tune with your life experiences and your journey, you start to remember certain characteristics and certain things about people. And then as you grow up, you're like, I've seen this before.
The truth is in the touch, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Unfriendly touch.
Oh, not just that. Wo to dur hai. It's just when they enter, when you just see them, you're like, wait a second.
What is it in the look? Tells you, okay, predator.
Well, if you read energies really well, you can tell from the way they look at you. You can see from their body language, the way they're talking. There's just a way. And sometimes they catch you off guard. Sometimes you don't even know. It takes a whole conversation. And then in the end of the conversation, you're like, oh.
Are these the most dangerous ones?
No, those are just, they're all dangerous, right? And it's also how you make it. Sometimes they are dangerous, but it's how you behave in the situation and how you get yourself out of it. It just saddens me that there are people in the world that will want to use your desire for something or your situation to their advantage. It's very sad.
How do you differentiate between a guy coming up to you with genuine nice intention versus these predators? I mean, what if a guy is hitting
Never
with
really
you?
thought about that.
But you don't mind the energy of the guy. It's like positive energy.
It's so hard to say now because there are so many different type of predators. There are sexual predators who want sex, right? And then there are clout predators who want to use you for your clout.
It's called fame.
Yeah. I didn't know you could swear on the podcast. Oh my God. Bindas. Thank God. There are literally clout motherfuckers who will court you, who will do everything to make you feel like they want you. And they actually just want your clout. They just want to use you for your fame.
Guys.
Yes.
Who want to date you for your fame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm sure that's a thing. I'm just confirming.
Yeah,
for the sake
I'm
of
not
narrative.
with me. Not with me. I mean, this is fully guarded, okay? And that's why you don't see me running around with guys or dating or, this, oh, I think she's with this one or that. I stay alone because I got to filter everyone and know what everyone's intention is before I allow them in my vicinity. But I see it is happening in front of me. I see it in my industry. People get married for clout. People use, these wives or husbands for networking, for circles, for money, for relevancy. Kya say shadi karni hai so that I can make sure I'm relevant for the next 3 years because she's got a few films releasing and they were doing well in the box office. So I got to ride that wave. People are that calculative. Those are predators too, no? Don't you think?
Yeah. Not everything is about.
Yeah.
I think everything that a human being does comes out of the motivation for power
And money.
and money.
You know what I mean? And fame also.
Power.
Yeah,
within
but
power.
you could be famous and not powerful. You could be powerful and not famous also, right? So
Fair.
we got to talk about 4 categories, and the amount of the crazy stuff that guys and girls will do, they will destroy their whole personal life for money, fame, power, etc., etc. Like nothing is worse than getting married to someone that you don't even love and living with them for years.
You see that around?
Come on now. Most of the people in our industry are doing that nonsense, just because they want to be in the right camps and circles and they want to be relevant because they don't know where their career is going to go. So they need to, have backup plan A, plan B, plan C. I totally understand being worried about your career and your not potential, but your name and your brand. I understand but I don't understand sacrificing your personal life and your mental health and your happiness, because in the end of the day, work is work and home life and personal life is something else. You can't mix both of the things together because you'll never be happy. And then you wonder why you're depressed and, suicidal and, you can't sleep at night. It's because you've mixed both things together unnecessarily due to greed and bad intentions. Your intentions were wrong to begin with. I see this all the time and I'm like, this is crazy. I understand working hard to stay where you are in the industry, doing multiple things in the industry, maybe acting, singing, this to stay relevant and make money. I understand trying to build a proper network base and being a part of certain camps, but then you got to work towards those things, right? But to start making personal life decisions because of clout and stuff, I think it's like a predator. It's almost predatory for sure. Because the other person doesn't even know you're doing this. The other person thinks you love them and you're married to them, or you love them and you're dating them, or jo bhi hai, and actually you have something else going on. That is scary.
There's a younger version of me that would have said, you know what, this is probably the substitute for a lack of discipline and hard work and self-belief. That the fact that you have to think about plan B in the first place. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm older, I kind of know that destiny plays a role. At least that's what I've learned through the show. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that destiny is the ultimate thing. I think that, of course, it's like half hard work, half fate, luck, whatever. Which is why I just question these realities. Is it the fact that they've tried with everything that they had, all the discipline that they had, and then they're forced to do this? Or the fact that...
Forced to what, be a predator?
No, forced to marry for clout and forced to alter their personal lives for the sake of their careers. That is possibly the biggest sacrifice that I can think of on a human level. Other than trading your soul with the devil.
No, I just think that too. Of course, there's a lot of people who sell their soul for the devil. They sell their soul for everything. But there are also some of them. Some of them just have really
destiny.
Of course, I believe in destiny.
It's a thing, right? Like the events are planned. All you can
everything
do is
I believe everything is written. Yes.
Yeah. Your job is just to like work hard, stay disciplined, stay focused, etc. And then you expect that destiny will do the job.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element of karma. Be a kind person.
Yeah. And then you said, for example, then destiny doesn't play the way you want it to be played. So then maybe they might do the things that we just discussed. But you have to have a different type of spirit to act even off camera. Because technically you're acting, right? You've made certain decisions. You've dragged certain people in those decisions and you're playing a role for money or for career or for fame or for relevancy. Some of them just want to be relevant, you know?
Why?
Because they're fucking crazy. Because it's a drug, right? Like fame is a drug. Money is a drug. If you don't have self-control, if you're not disciplined, if you don't fear God, there's a lot of things that come into play. Then the devil himself in fame will attack. And when he attacks, he will take control of your spirit and your mind and your morals and your values. So suddenly you start making certain decisions and doing things in your life that go against your morals and values. And you don't even care anymore because you're like, I need the money. I need the fame. I need to be relevant. I need to stick around. I need to be here. It's crazy. Had you had the discipline, self-control, the fear of God, the faith, etc., you would be able to balance the importance of money, fame, work, relevancy with real life and realize that this is great. I have this or I had this, but I cannot sell myself and my entire life for this forever because this is not forever. What remains forever is you, your person, your thoughts, your actions, your good deeds, your spirit, your faith. All of these things remain forever. Your relationships with people, what good and bad you've did, how many people you've helped, have you left a lasting positive mark on someone's life? These are the things that matter, right? Fame and all these things, they're great. Look, I'm famous. I have money too. I've got the success and I have people who admire me and I'm doing all the things I've always wanted to do. I'm fulfilling my dreams. This is all great. But I'm doing this in the cleanest way possible by working really hard, giving all my time and effort, building on my skill, working on myself, and being good to people. That's it. But I'm not manipulating and making decisions in my life and manipulating the people around me to get these things done. This is where I'm like, bro, you're fucking crazy.
I miss my childhood.
Me too. Sometimes I'm like, I miss my childhood too. You know, isn't it so crazy that when we're kids, we want to grow up and become adults so quickly? And we're like, gosh, maybe, you know, heels pehenti hu, ya makeup lagati hu, ya whatever. We see all these things, and then we grow up and we're adults, and we're like, it wasn't that great. I might want to go back to being a kid.
You're desperate to be an adult when you're a kid.
It's so crazy. Some of these kids, I'm like, shut up. Stay being a kid and enjoy it while it lasts, because you're gonna have to pay taxes and bills when you get older.
Yeah. The moment you're 18 or 22, you have that wake-up call, and then you really, really, really miss being a kid.
Yeah, I had mine when I was 16. That was my wake-up call. And I'm like,
began working.
Yeah, my first job.
You're also 93?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 93.
I'm 92, but yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
kind of same thing.
But it's fine, give or take.
Yeah. when you meet people in that same age range, at least for me nowadays, I connect very deeply with that specific age bracket because we've all seen the same quantum of trauma.
Yeah.
in different ways.
Are you traumatized too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God, me too. Oh my God, I have a lot of trauma.
I don't think one can chase fame without trauma being the precursor, or you're born in like a fame-oriented environment. It's one of the two. There has to be something that makes you want to have this kind of attention on yourself this much.
For sure. You want validation. You want constant validation. You want, it's the word validation. That's what it is.
Did you want to be famous when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Same,
yeah,
I'd say the same thing.
It was so scary how much I wanted it. I forced the whole school to make me famous.
I've not met a single like famous person who doesn't say that.
Yeah. Oh, like I have never met someone who's like, no, I never wanted fame, and then I woke up one day and wanted to be famous. It's always like bachpan se. Always like I remember vividly seeing. I don't even know where these tapes are anymore. I was asking my mom the other day, but homemade videotapes, right? Recording tapes. And I remember seeing my mom or someone, my dad or someone from the family recording me in a family function, like a wedding or an engagement or whatever. And I'm in the middle of the crowd demanding everyone's attention, watching me dance. And if I don't get the claps and all that, I'll start crying. And if my mom drags me from that center, I'll throw a huge fit, like, and throw myself on the floor like a crazy person. And then I'm only happy when I run back to the circle and I'm like dancing. Everyone's like, "Kya baat hai, kya baat hai?" And then I'm like, yeah. So that's scary. I was 3, 4. Like, what was I doing asking for validation from the crowd? Oh, man.
Story of every social media star, at least, and generally, again, every famous person. I have met some people who kind of becoming famous who say that they're not enjoying it and kind of want to leave, and they were always the people who didn't want the fame.
So what did they want exactly? The success?
Probably they didn't know what they wanted.
That's true. I agree. There are people like that. But also, that a lot of people who are famous also have the personality trait that wants them to be famous. Like you have it in you where you not want the attention, but want the admiration. Sometimes not all attention is good attention, right? But you want the admiration and you want the claps. That's a personality trait. I don't know what you call that. I hope it's not narcissism. Because then we're f***ed.
Not narcissism. Every famous person goes to... We're probably narcissists, dude.
Oh my God. I don't know what it is, but it's a personality trait.
2 narcissists can't date each other.
I heard.
And 2 narcissists can be really good friends also. Because you understand each other's bullshit.
Interesting. I don't think it's... Look, there's... borderline narcissism. Hey, I understand that, to be a star and all that and be okay with fame. It's there a little bit. Thoda sa hai. But if you're aware of it, then you know how to control it. I think there's another personality trait that a performer has. I don't know if it's the same for like a social media star or maybe for an actor also. But the ability to put on a show.
And create an illusion?
Yeah. And have the audience kind of mesmerized and gravitate towards you and really like enjoy what you're doing and have their attention. There's a personality trait. I'm still trying to figure out what that is. But not all stars have that also, by the way.
Have you ever read your own astrological chart by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, we just had an astrologer on the show recently.
Okay.
I don't know how deeply into... So he was a Vedic astrologer and he taught me
what does that mean?
Like the Indian system.
Okay.
Of like reading, the Hindu system of reading it. And the way he explained it, like Atharva, who's like our producer, he's a very like scientific thinking oriented.
Right.
And all of us were convinced after that episode. That guy was that good a speaker. But there was also a lot of truth in what he was saying.
What did he say which was for you a game changer?
So I've been exposed to Vedic astrology a lot because of the show, people I met, friends, exes. Like, so I kind of had an idea about it. This guy was just able to, you can really break down the personality of someone like through that chart because it's very, very detailed. But you need to know your birth time. And do you know your birth time?
No. I gotta ask, yeah.
But it's pretty accurate, at least from a personality perspective.
Okay.
Like
so this is quite deep. This is not like your, because you asked me astrology and you just wake up and you see what does Aquarius is, what is this? It's not that, it's more deep.
all that's also deep, but that's like kind of generalizing it. It's like the trailer of the movie. The movie would be these deep astrological charts.
Okay,
I
crazy.
believe there are Arabic and Gregorian charts also, which have their own
Interesting.
systems.
Interesting.
But you need to be educated in that. It's all based on the same thing. It's based on astronomy, position of
Right, stars, yeah.
So basically, in the Vedic chart, they draw out 12 sections of the sky.
Okay.
And they call it 12 houses, and each of those represents a bunch of things. Then depending on where the planets are placed, you can kind of tell something of the personality of the person or their relationship with their father, their mother, their children, their wife, etc., husband, etc. The first house, the core one, represents who you are on the inside. Like, what is your personality?
Interesting.
So mine is something called Rahu,
okay,
which is a planet that doesn't actually exist. There are 2 planets in the whole system which don't exist. So they don't count Neptune and Uranus, but they count Rahu and Ketu, which are not real planets. But it's also, I mean, there's theories about what Rahu and Ketu are. Some people say it's like a black hole around the solar system.
Interesting.
But if Rahu's in your first house, who you are on the inside is mystery and illusion. And usually with people in media, it's about illusion. We were talking about something about illusion. You said that trait. And after the narcissism conversation.
I was wondering about what that personality trait is that makes you captivate the audience and have their attention.
Have you seen
and perform?
The Spider-Man movie with Mysterio?
No.
So in Spider-Man, there's a villain called Mysterio. His superpower is that he's able to create very elaborate illusions and it confuses Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's exactly what a media career is.
Interesting.
On many levels. Whether it's as simple as altering an Instagram post or caption to look a certain way, or acting where your whole body language alters itself.
And you embody a different character.
We're all shapeshifters.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
That's the core of this career. You get paid to be a shapeshifter.
For sure, yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if even you had Rahu, honestly, because it's related to fame.
Yeah.
It gives you potential to get fame. There are other planets. I think even Venus is related to fame, but Venus is in the first house, I think, is also related to the luxurious aspect of fame.
Interesting.
Yeah, like
glam and stuff.
Yeah, like someone like Kylie Jenner would be like a very perfect Venus in the first house. That's what I think. I don't know shit about astrology.
No, but it kind of makes sense. But interesting. I love that.
Should get your like chart read once just to like know about yourself. And again, the core of astrology is that it all can be changed through hard work and good karma. But this is what's likely to happen. That's why I've opened myself up to it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It's good to be open to receive new information and learn. I feel like I was telling you initially in the beginning of our podcast, like we have to be alert and we have to gain knowledge, especially in our industry. And if you're a public figure.
What's the most difficult alone time thought that you have?
It's hard because most of the time I'm alone. So, and I've wired my brain, which might not be a good thing, but since the age of 16, even when I'm alone, I'm just thinking about what's next. What do I do next? Okay, what do I do? Okay, I gotta do this project, that project, this. This is how my brain is constantly. I've not had a moment to sit and have empty thoughts or never. Like even right now we're talking, but I'm also in the back of my head thinking about, okay, what do I got to do for the next couple of weeks that is going to be, it's going to help me in my career for the next 1 year. Like I'm constantly thinking, calculating, doing this, It's insane. My brain works in a different level altogether. I don't give time for myself to think about, I'm feeling sad today because this boy didn't message me, or, oh my God, I missed my best friend's birthday. I just don't think. It takes me a long time to get into a situation. Like, recently I was doing an interview, and in that interview, in the middle of it, I'm looking outside of the window and I'm reminiscing about my past and about like the struggle of Bombay when I first came and how I might need therapy. How did I come to that conclusion in the middle of an interview? That's because I don't give time for my brain to process things at all. I don't even process my success sometimes. It's really crazy. Like, when I said to you that what bothers me the most is that I have to constantly prove myself. And one of the reasons, or the main reason, is because only I know all the sacrifices I've made in my life. Only I know all the sacrifices I made in my personal life. And when I look at all those sacrifices, I'm like, boss, like I did all this for my dream, and I still am having a hard time to get people to be convinced, or to get people to see me, or to give me chances and opportunities and to believe in me. And when I look at all those sacrifices I made, I'm like, oh, damn, that's crazy. I'll never get that time back. I'll never get those moments back. I've missed so many things. You know, there was times where I haven't seen my family in years. There's a whole, you know, gap of time that's gone. Like I've missed my friends' birthdays. When I talk about my friends, they're not like friends or normal friends. These are like family. I grew up with them. I went to school with them. They're like my sisters. I miss their marriages, their birthdays. I've missed moments in life with them, their childbirths, their first childbirth, their engagements, their anniversaries. I've missed my brother's wedding. I've missed the birth of his sons. I've missed moments with my mom. I've missed moments with my other brother. I've missed their graduations. I've missed their birthdays. I've missed everything in the span of 10 years chasing my dream. And thankfully, it's not been, you know, wasted. I have made a name. I am successful. I've broken barriers. I've broken stereotypes. I've inspired a lot of people. But
is it enough for you?
It's never going to be enough. You know, it's not like I'm here talking about going global. You know, I just signed a global record deal with Warner America and Warner Global, and I'm working towards my international career. I want to be global. But of course, that's going to come with so many sacrifices. Again, I might have to sacrifice my personal life, which I am currently doing. I mean, I don't focus on my personal life at all. I don't take vacations. I don't date. I don't go partying. I don't.
You think it'll take away from your time?
Yeah, 100%.
That's why you don't date?
Oh, no. Maybe it might take away my attention, my drive, my fire, because in order to reach the success I'm reaching and do the things that I do, it requires full, undivided attention. It requires that.
Have you had a bad experience with someone?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah.
Is that the reason you don't want to date now?
Probably I'm not going to say there's only one reason. I'm not going to say it's only because I want to be focused on my career. Yes, I want to be focused entirely on my career, and I want to make everything come true, and I want to be super successful, and I want to prove so many people wrong. I have that fire in me. But a part of it is because I had a terrible experience with someone which was...
You been cheated on?
It's not like that. No, it's worse. You know, it's
worse.
Way worse. Yeah, it's way worse because people are always getting cheated on, by the way, on a daily basis.
I don't know.
So it's not that.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know what you've been through.
Yeah.
Just as a friend.
Yeah, for sure.
You've won the breakup.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I have won the breakup or whatever that was. I don't know if it was a breakup. It was just a very weird experience. I don't wish that on anyone. So it's not your generic, oh, this person cheated, this person broke up. No, it's something deeper, darker, scarier. It was...
Someone conned you?
It was... I wish it was that. It was terrible. I don't wish that on anyone. But I got out of that safe alive. And after that, I was like, no, I need to protect my aura. I need to protect my spirit. I need to protect me. So now I have a barrier around me, and it's very hard to get through that. Very hard. You have to be, I don't know what, to get through to that. And I prefer that. I prefer because I want to be safe. I sacrifice so much for my career. Why would I allow some all human to destroy that for me? So that's why I created this barrier, and I don't focus on all this. Instead, I work really hard to make my fans happy, to make my friends and family proud of me, and to prove all the haters wrong.
Do you believe in love?
Yeah, of course I do.
Like romantic
love? I believe in love. I believe in God. I believe in all these nice things. I don't believe in humans. It's true.
Do you believe in the goodness of men?
I believe in giving them chances and trying, but I don't believe that they're perfect. Yes, definitely believe. And also women are crazy. They're not perfect either. But I don't believe in humans. That's why I use the word humans.
We had Neena Gupta on the show and she said something interesting. She said that both men and women need to realize that they need each other.
For sure. They do need each
you
other.
think that's true? Or maybe another way of...
Yeah, this idea of like, I don't need anybody and feminism and not. I don't believe in this shit at all. In fact, I think feminism fucked up our society completely. And the idea of being inherently completely independent and not having to get married and have kids and not having the male and female dynamics in the home where the man is a provider and a breadwinner and the woman is a nurturer. I don't believe in people who think that that's not true. I think women are nurturers. Yes, they should go to work and have their own life and be independent, but to a certain extent, they should also be ready to take on the role of being a mother and a wife and a nurturer, just like a man should be ready to take a role of being a provider and a breadwinner and a father and a husband. I believe totally on this. We call it old school, traditional way of thinking. I think I call it the normal way of thinking. It's just feminism fucked it up a little bit and made us really excited about this whole like freedom and liberation and everyone's equal. We are all equal in more sentimental things, but in societal things, we are not equal. I think everyone plays their role.
Yeah. Another part of the Neena Gupta podcast was about how I think she was basically talking about the nature of the uterus. And how it actually changes the physiology of the human body. And just the presence of the uterus and female hormones and the kind of hormonal shifts you guys have over 1 month is so drastic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That it's not built for modern society, which is actually built for men because jobs became a thing during the Industrial Revolution. This 9 to 5 thing.
Yes. This happened after the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, you're right.
Because men's hormonal cycles change over a day and women's hormonal cycles change over a month. I'm not a girl, so I don't have perspective. But I sent it to some of my smartest female friends, some of whom are entrepreneurs, some of whom are actors, everyone's successful. All of them agreed with it. So like, this is so true. In fact, can we play the video actually?
I don't mind. Let's see it.
Okay. So have a look at this, okay?
Female physiology was not designed for the 8 to 5 grind. This is because our hormones operate on completely different cycles than men. Women are on a 28-day cycle and men are on a 24-hour hormone cycle. The traditional 8 to 5 workday grind is designed to accommodate men's testosterone levels, and women's hormones aren't even slightly taken into consideration when it comes to this schedule. Here's how it works. Men wake up with a surge of testosterone every morning, which slowly declines throughout the day. This makes them ready to get up and get after it first thing in the morning, day after day. Women, on the other hand, are on a 28-day hormone cycle. We experience 4 phases within our month-long menstrual cycle, have different hormonal patterns every single day of our cycle, and only get 1 spike of testosterone, which occurs during ovulation. Women also need more sleep than men, are naturally more creative, and need variation in their schedules to accommodate their daily hormonal shifts. Trying to get most women to thrive in corporate settings is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and our bodies feel it. It's no wonder we don't fit in and easily burn out when living a corporate lifestyle. You're not broken, lazy, or not strong enough. Your hormones were just made for something different. If you're feeling like you need a slower schedule, need more time to yourself, and want a way out of the 8 to 5, nothing is wrong with you. Women are strong and capable of so many things, but we have to remember just because we can survive something doesn't mean we were made for it.
Period.
Female physiology.
I totally agree with it. Sorry, I'm just seeing the comments. Interesting. I find this very interesting. What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, I'm trying to understand it better at this stage, because a lot of things that you process about the world as a guy are in binary. So it's either black or white. And as you grow older as a guy, you realize that nuance is a thing.
There's a gray section. Yeah.
So
for sure.
at this point, I'm just trying to better my nuance, man. And I'm trying to listen to smart and successful female friends of mine. So I'll throw the ball back at you.
It's funny because you might ask all these successful female friends of yours and each one might have their own opinion. Some of them are still stuck in that feminism wave I was talking to you about, which has been hammered into our heads and our upbringing through TV, through music, through other female role models, etc., etc. I'm talking about the Western upbringing, not here. Okay, here it's still a little bit less than how extreme it is in the West, right? That we grew up seeing visuals, hearing audios, being told that, you know, patriarchy is bad and men who are not allowing you to, you know, be a feminist, they're bad and men are bad. And, you know, the society is bad if it doesn't allow you to struggle in life and work 9 to 5. And you should not want to be a mother and have kids and get married. That's all old school. And so that kind of mentality has been hammered subconsciously in the last, I'd say, 20 years. Funny enough, in the last 2 or 3 years, I'm seeing videos like this now crop up. I'm seeing people talk more on podcasts about how the society has gone to the extreme side of feminism and it's destroyed the family unit. It's destroyed the feminine energy of a woman to want to be caring and nurturing and, you know, create a household. And this extreme need of wanting to compete with a man. And if you don't compete with a man, then you're not adequate. These things people are starting to question more.
I mean, as a guy, I can only speak from my experience. I've dated a couple of girls who were feminists, and there was a lot of differences between the two.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, her career wasn't moving forward very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And my experience there with her was negative.
Interesting.
The other one, her career was moving forward and she was also a feminist. And both would like lecture me about where they thought I was going wrong. Sure. And I'd take it from both. But with the good one, she would lecture me from a place of love and nurturing.
Interesting.
With the one who's intense to deal with, she would compete with me a lot.
So do you notice that this has similarity to religion? That religion is a great thing, but when it becomes radicalized and extreme, it's dangerous. So feminism is the same thing. Feminism inherently on the base level is great. The foundation of it is great. I also, you know, advocate for women's rights. I also want girls to go to school. I also believe in all these things. However, when feminism becomes radical, which is what has happened in the last 15 to 20 years, it's dangerous for the society. And now the society and people are seeing the repercussion of this radicalization of feminism. Families are suffering, kids are suffering, women's mental health is suffering. People, it's almost like what is happening right now is that, you know, when you shake a Coke bottle and then you open it and it goes, phew. So this is happening right now. And people are fed up, people are tired, people are having immense anxiety. They don't understand. It's because they've been in this dog race. When then they're not meant for this dog race. Now people want to be in their soft girl era. People want to be there in feminine energy. People want to find themselves. So there's a lot of epiphanies happening right now.
Do you think the right man can unlock a woman's true feminine?
Yeah, for sure.
You've seen this with your friends, at least? With yourself?
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Like, for example, I know, I'll just speak about myself. I have a masculine trait about me for sure because of how I've kind of had to be in survival mode since day one. And I've kind of unleashed that part of me. So dominant, dictator, taking control, can give manly vibes sometimes. However, I need to do that to be able to be good. You know, I have to take care of people. I'm the breadwinner of my family, as I was telling you. I take care of my friends. I take care of everybody. So I am the head, you know, of the family. So inherently, you kind of give a bit of masculine energy with that. With the right man who knows how to take care of me, who's a provider, who's a supporter and a protector, I will automatically surrender and feel safe. Because obviously I with the space that I'm in, I don't feel safe. So I have to create this kind of energy to be safe, right? With the right man, like I said, with those characteristics I mentioned, automatically your feminine energy kicks in. Automatically, biologically, you feel like, all right, now I feel safe to do what I'm meant to do.
Can we break down the right man thing a little bit better?
Yeah, sure.
That's how I figured, how to be better as a guy.
Okay.
Through questions like this.
Okay, so first of all, you as a man needs to tap into your masculine energy. Let's start there, because I feel like our society right now, with what's going on, a lot of the factors in our environment have led to men losing their masculine energy, which is a problem for us women who are looking for men with masculine energy, right?
Yeah, an easy way of quantifying this, or not quantifying, or like an example of this would be guys not taking care of their fitness.
There you go, maybe. Okay, that's one thing.
What else?
Okay. Masculine energy comes in different forms, right? It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be mental, right? You can take care of yourself physically and go to the gym and you look like a man with great masculine energy, but here it's zero. And if here it's zero, then you can't provide me anything. So masculine energy, the one I'm talking about, where you become someone who can hold a house down, who can have a family, who can become a provider, you have to change the way you think. You have to be ready to be a provider. You have to be ready to be a supporter, and you have to be ready to take the protective role in the society. A lot of men don't want to do that anymore.
You see that with guys?
No, not anymore. A lot of men don't want to do that anymore.
Like they don't want to take care of a family and they don't want to provide.
They don't. A lot of men now have also been brainwashed in the feminism era, who are like, oh, all right, cool. You want equality? All right, let's be equal in everything. Let's be equal in the protection department, in the providing department, in the home, in the emotional department. Now men want to compete with women in everything, which is wrong. I think everyone needs to play their role. If a man can work on being more of a provider and more of a protector, the women then need to focus on being more of the nurturers. Everyone brings something to the table. So if you're bringing to the table money, food, shelter, I need to bring to the table kids, being a mother, taking care of the house, cooking, etc., etc. Because if we're both bringing the same thing to the table, then who's going to bring the other stuff? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But this is, of course, a very old school, traditional way of thinking. But I believe in this, and I think it's coming back.
I think every guy, at least that I know, also believes in what you're saying.
Even girls, trust me, even girls. Eventually, when girls start going out in the workforce and they struggle and they hustle and they see that how crazy the world is, and they get older and they become more mature and they see life experiences, they start to realize what's more important. They start to realize what role they want to play, what they're more happier doing. They start to be more in touch with their hormones, with what biology says, right? There's one thing what the TV says, what the society says, and then what your body and what your chemicals and your system is telling you. Our system tells us to be nurturers, whether we like it or not.
It's very cool that Nora Fatehi is saying this.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to disagree with me. Like, your comment section is going to be like, she's old school, she's a hypocrite, etc. I'm not. I genuinely believe what is a fact is a fact. What you decide to do with your life, wo to alag baat hai. That's a different story. But what is a fact is a fact. And I do genuinely believe that once we are ready to accept this, the equilibrium in the society is going to come back to how it is. All this chaos is happening is because of this extreme way of thinking, extreme way of doing things, extreme ideologies. Once we come back to moderation, the balance happens, people will be less depressed, people will have less anxiety, and things will make more sense in life.
I almost felt like someone who I had an experience with, that girl, because her life wasn't in place, she had become sexist towards all men because she had a lot of stuff going on with her father. And that trauma would make its way to me.
Yes, of course it will. Of course. What do you think? Not just you, but the man, the next man, and the man after that.
Like, I've had female guests come on the show way back who've literally said all men are assholes, all men are shit, and we've not uploaded that episode. This is like from
But why
way
not?
back.
Why didn't you upload it? Because I feel like I mean, I can see why you did it, but at the same time, it could have been a great eye-opener to a lot of people to see that, hey, we're having a problem in our society. If women are thinking like this and speaking like this, boss, problem kya hai exactly?
It was probably my 7th recording. I wasn't nuanced enough to even like debate with her, because when she said that, there was like 6 guys in the room with her recording the podcast.
They're like, bro, we're men.
Yeah. And again, guys are also kind of complex. You know, at least the modern guy is not as simple as our father's generation.
That's true. Yes.
Like
yes.
we have dealt with our own fair share of shit also.
Of course. Yes.
Because
I agree.
The pressure on guys is about earning money.
It is crazy. It's about being a provider. Yes, definitely. But don't you think that as a man, when you're working towards being a provider, knowing that on the other side, there's a woman working at being a nurturer, isn't that going to make it much easier for you to work towards being a provider? More motivational?
Just that sentence gave me goosebumps.
That other part is missing, which makes it more crazier and difficult for you guys. I totally sympathize. I understand. That's where we got to come in and work on the better half of this equation. You guys work at being better providers, and we work at being better supporters and nurturers, and essentially, in the end of the day, mothers, because that's what we're going to end up being. Most of us. There are some people who probably don't care about this, but I'm just talking about the society as a general.
You know that this is going to be clipped up by the internet, not by my team. It's going to make its way to social media pages. And some of the top comments are going to be, oh, look at Nora Fatehi, she has so much pick-me energy.
A lot of people don't care about what comes out of my mouth because they don't expect the things that come out of my mouth. But
you've not done enough podcasts also, honestly.
No, I probably did like 1 or 2. Yeah.
But
because people don't ask me the right questions. So
you're really street smart, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, the survival
definitely.
skills.
No, definitely. That's one thing I know I am, is street smart. And I'm also no filter. And I'm not someone who's going to say things because it makes you feel better. So I don't have pick me energy. In fact, I have the more other energy where it's like, oh my God, what is she about to say? Oh, like my whole team is probably outside freaking out because they know that this has no filter. But look, honestly, it's great to have these kind of conversations because it also teaches people not to stereotype. Like when you judge a book by its cover, just because a certain person looks a certain way, or, you cannot just be like, oh, they probably have this kind of mentality. I have a certain kind of mentality because I'm educated. I went through life. My brain absorbs in a way. I've seen different kind of lives. It's like a cat with 9 lives. I've seen different kind of lives. I've lived in different types of places with different types of people. I'm educated, not even in the school sense, but in other senses too. Like, I don't want to get into it, but hence why I'm able to speak the way I speak. Hence why I am someone that people should listen to what I'm saying, because I've lived these experiences. And I'm able to tell you that, boss, like, we're having a problem right now and we have to fix it. And this is how I think we're going to fix it. But yeah, I mean, whatever.
You don't have pick me energy, you have don't pick me energy.
I'm just like, chodo yaar. Fuck off. Chahiye nahi chahiye, that's your problem, right? And it's like, but that's the beauty of the internet. If you don't like what someone's saying, just scroll. That's it.
I see why people would find you intimidating. And I'm not just talking about guys here, just people in general.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm glad we had this conversation because I'm sure there are a lot of guys and women sitting at home right now trying to figure themselves out, trying to obviously make other people happy, make the society happy, but they're not happy inside and they don't know what it is. And maybe this could provide maybe a bit of a light in the end of the tunnel to figure it out.
There's a theory behind why podcasts have taken off all over the world. No one knows for sure, but everyone assumes that it's because loneliness has increased in the world.
Oh yeah, so much.
Do you feel lonely at all?
During the lockdown, I felt lonely because I was locked in my house alone for however months we were locked, right? It was just me and my walls. Now it's hard to feel lonely because I'm constantly around people. Like, it's my job to be around a crowd, around staff, team, audience, production. I'm constantly around humans. Do I feel like I'm trying to think about where I want to go with this now. Yes, like I'm thinking about my personal life more than ever.
Your personal life?
Yes, for sure. Like thinking about...
Are you dating someone?
No, I'm
You're
not.
single?
Yeah, I'm single. So I'm trying to figure out how to let those walls down again. You know, the ones that I built because of the experience I had. I'm trying to figure out how to screen people more, you know, read them a little more, not allowing dangerous people in my environment, my surroundings. And I'm also trying to figure out what I want. Okay, what do I want from a man? Besides the things that we discussed, the basic things, where can I find them? You know what I mean? Because like we said, there's very few now who have this mentality. A lot of them now are like, whatever, I'm just going to compete with a girl and whatever it is what it is. Yeah, of course. A lot of them are also tired of competing and trying to stick to the societal norms. And it's a tough world that we live in today. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of person I want. Where, how am I going to do this? Trying to figure out, I have this love for my career, but I also want to be a mom. I also want to be a wife. I also want to take care of my home. So I have to think about how I'm going to balance both of them because I also want to take over the world, right? So people are probably in the comment section saying, she's a psychopath. You know what I mean? She doesn't know what she wants, but I want both. So now that I know my personality trait is like this, and I know that I'm probably destined for this, now I have to figure out how I'm going to do both of them. Yeah.
What's the foreigner perspective on Indian guys in terms of dating? What are
It's
Indian
hard.
guys?
It's really hard. It's like if you're from South America, your perspective is going to be different, right? If you're from Europe, your perspective is going to be different. I'm again an Arab, North African woman. My perspective is like, you guys are just like Middle Eastern and African guys. Like it's the same. There is no difference really, to be honest with you.
So this whole personal life mathematics that you're doing, what have you figured from it? Like, what do you want? For example, at this point, I have figured that I need stability. That's what I need like the most. Like and I've had a phase where I was seeing someone who was 4 or 5 years younger than I am.
Okay.
And that was too much of an age gap for me.
Okay.
I felt like that phase of life where they're like 24, 25, there's too
young.
many variables.
It's too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too young.
And right after that, I started dating someone who was like around my age, and it was so much more stability. That stability gave me a sense of healing almost.
Oh yes, for sure.
So
of
that's
course.
become
you cannot, you're in your 30s now, you're going into a different phase in life, a phase of where you're going to start thinking about these things that we've been speaking about. You cannot be dating someone who's 22 because she's in a different space in her mind completely. She's still trying to figure out who she is. You know what I mean?
That was my thought before dating her. Okay. And she pursued the relationship more. And she told me that, hey, you know what? I understand you're in like a marriage and stable relationship zone. So am I. But once we began dating, it started like kind of breaking down because she wasn't actually in that space. And I have another female friend who I was, after I broke up with this particular girl, I just told her that, hey, you know, this is what happened to me. That female friend of mine told me that, you know, a lot of girls, especially in media, will portray another reality in order. It's like I don't like saying this, but it's sort of like the player version of girls.
Yeah, for sure.
That happens.
Yes, of
Because
course.
as a guy, you assume girls are really sweet. Girls are
No.
So
you assume girls are sweet.
I think I got played in that one equation, but I'm realizing that now. And I'm not saying that I'm some Dulka Dhula. Like I have also made mistakes in my life. I've never been a player, but I may not have given 100% to certain relations. I never cheated or anything.
Okay.
But just in terms of...
You were not in 100%.
Maybe I wasn't as into it as the girl was. And a few times I've been on the receiving end. 2 or 3 times in my life I've been on the receiving end, but I'm more into it and the girl's not. But the fact that a girl lied to me like this was the first time, like...
Obviously, because you said no and she wanted something she can't have. And a lot of girls... let me put a disclaimer here, guys. I'm not speaking about everyone. This is just general. That's all. There are obviously women who are great and girls who are great. But there are a lot of girls who, if you say no, they want it even more.
Yeah.
And then they will say anything to get it. Even for example, for you to be like, hey, I'm in a whole marriage serious space. And she's like, yeah, me too. You're 23. Why are you even thinking about that? But that's because you said no and she wanted something that she couldn't have. And she's ready to risk it all for it, which is crazy. But women are like that. A lot of women are like that. Definitely. And we are not sweet. Girls are not sweet. Girls are not sweet. Whoever told you that, don't be naive.
It's probably the perception you have because of seeing Kajol with Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, I know. But in the real world, as much as, you know, we bash men, because like we have this thing where it's in fashion to bash men and be like, men are all assholes. And a lot of women are crazy. A lot of women are crazy. A lot of women are conniving. A lot of them are great actors in real life. Maybe not in front of the camera, but in real life, yes. And they will portray a certain image and they will suck you in to a reality that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
You know,
That's how I felt.
Yeah. They will lie to you. They'll play you. They'll manipulate situations and they'll emotionally manipulate you. Oh man, some girls are so good at that.
What is emotional manipulation?
What do you mean? Emotional manipulation? It is what it is. I mean, manipulating your emotions, manipulating their emotions on you.
Getting the guy to like you more.
Making you feel bad about things, guilty about things, changing your mind about certain things, changing your perspective about certain things, changing the course of where things are going, maybe changing who you are, how you think, what your beliefs are. Of course, women can do all that.
But what's the kick? Like, why? Why do this in the first place?
Because women are crazy. Most, not all.
I mean, I know guys also do this stuff.
Men also do that.
Yeah.
Men do it to a different degree.
Yeah.
In different aspects, in different departments. But yeah, women, there are some great girls out there too who are like, boss, mere ko ye sab nahi chahiye. I just want a good guy. I want a normal life. I want stability and security. And then there are some girls who are so fucking crazy. I'm like, what? Why did God even create you? But yeah, that's also there.
Some humans that are so fucking crazy.
Yes, and that's why I feel like it's the parents' responsibility when they're bringing you up to educate you about this so that you're aware, so that your intuition becomes strong when you're growing up and you can start filtering the crap as you go along.
It's crazy as you brought this up, okay? Because in the break, this is what I was thinking about. I was thinking that I need to speak about intuition to you.
So everyone has intuition. Everyone, right? You just have to be so self-aware to connect to your intuition and understand what it's trying to tell you. Have you seen so many people that after the fact, then they go, oh my God, this was telling me something. I felt something here and it's kind of too late now. That has happened so many times. So when it happens so many times in your life, you have to be alert and smart enough and connected with your soul to be like, okay, the next time it happens, I know what I'm going to do. The next time it happens, I'm going to be aware. I'm going to listen to it. And I'm going to make certain decisions based on that. That takes a lot of time. That takes maturity, life experiences. You have to live life to actually start understanding what this is trying to tell you. And there are times where this is telling you something and you're like, shut up, wait, I have to do this, or I have to go here, I have to talk to this person. And then you're like, okay, maybe I should have not done this. But yeah.
After Ramzan, do you feel heightened intuition?
Yeah, even during.
During also?
Yeah,
because
during.
of the fasting?
Yeah, because I fast every day, even though I'm working and everything, but I never leave my fast every day since the age of 14. I have fasted. It's just been instilled in our brains. Like when I was 14, like when you are supposed to start fasting after your puberty, your parents hammered in your head, you have to fast. So growing up, we went to school fasting. We did everything fasting. It was normal. So when Ramadan came, you stuck to it. So even now, people are like, how are you fasting and you're working and you're traveling every day? You're on a flight every day. You're on sets every day. You have to be active. A part of my job description is to be physically active as a performer, right? But I don't break my fast. I keep my fast going. And then you keep it going, whatever. It's not the end of the world. In fact, it's a great time for me to become more disciplined and more spiritual. And when you know that you're going into a situation that's going to be physically, mentally tough, you just strengthen your discipline. And it works so well in other aspects in life, in your work, in your relationships. You think differently, you act differently. And I have so much respect for people who fast and are still working. Like there's an athlete recently, he was speaking about, he's a basketball player. He's fasting while he's playing basketball. And, you know, everyone's like, how are you doing it? He's like, well, it's my duty. I have to do it and I have to be spiritually inclined and respectful to my religion, but I still have to go to work. So why do I have to choose this or this? So I fast, I go to work. And in the midst of all this, I feel more in tune, as you said, to my intuition, more in tune to my actions, my thoughts, and more spiritually sensitive. Yeah.
You also pray?
Yeah.
Every
for
day.
sure. Yes.
That's where the intuition comes from.
Yes, 100%. I think you're right. It's the same thing as when people meditate. I feel like
meditation.
Yeah, prayer is definitely meditation. And when you go into your zone of connecting with your creator, whoever that is for you or for anyone else, you're on a different realm, I feel like, spiritually and mentally.
That's the survival skills shield that people don't understand, because people are trying to practicalize and rationalize everything. But when you actually begin praying with your heart, you realize everything that it gives you, especially if your ambition is huge.
Especially if your ambition is huge. Listen, it's not just ambition, but especially if you are sensitive to nazar, sensitive to people who don't have good intentions or goodwill for you, especially if you're out exposed to the world. You know, you need a shield, you need safety, you need something to guard you. And I think prayer really does guard you and help you get out of certain situations. When we pray 5 times a day, what's so beautiful about it is that in the chaos of the world and whatever you're doing, there's 2 minutes that you stop and you remember your creator and you thank him, and you also ask for things. You ask for protection, you ask for forgiveness, you ask for all these things. And it's so nice to have that ability 5 times a day, if you are able to pray 5 times a day. I'm not saying I pray 5 times a day. There are sometimes I forget to, sometimes I'm too busy, sometimes I'd only do 2 or 3. It's a work in progress for me. Between me and myself, I work towards doing that. But when you can, it's a moment where you connect and you remember certain things. And of course, when you remember to be more grateful and thankful, the universe or God gives you more, right? It's a transaction almost, right? The law of attraction. And when you're seeking a moment with your creator, automatically that makes you more spiritually stronger, and that makes you more protected from the external things that are coming your way, especially if you're a public figure.
Okay, so this is something I wondered about namaz. Okay. When you're sitting for it, there's a chant you're doing in your head, right? So while you're chanting, are you also thinking of your wishes?
So you're not chanting. So what you're doing is, first, there are things that we memorize when we're doing our namaz. So you're memorizing the shahada, right? Which is your
prayer.
Well, your shahada is basically bearing witness that there's only one God, etc., right? So you're reiterating that. Once you reiterate that, you start to read the ayats from the Quran, which you're memorizing. There are specific ayats that we have to say when we start our prayer, like surahs, like Surah Al-Fatiha. That's a surah that we have to always start our namaz with. And all Muslims who pray have memorized this surah. So we always start with that. Surah means a whole chapter, basically, of the Quran. Then there are...
Is it like in the form of poetry?
Yeah. So it really is. Yes, it really is. Yeah, and you recite it. When you're reciting it, you recite other chapters of the Quran, and then you start to say things like, I thank God, the Creator, I thank God, the Creator. And then when you prostrate and you have your head to the floor and you're praying, that is the moment where you're asking for forgiveness. That is the moment where you're asking for anything. You're making your du'as, basically. That is the moment where you're connected to God at a different level altogether. And people use that moment for a lot of things, to say a lot of things. Most people use that for forgiveness, really, because we're sinners, right? Throughout the day, we're constantly sinning. So that's the moment where, again, you're reconnecting with God. Again, you're trying to clean your slate. And then when we get up again, we recite the surahs again, we do our ayats again, and then we go back down. And it is kind of a bit of, it is literally meditation. It really is. Because what you're doing when you're meditating is you're chanting, right? But you're chanting really strong words. They have meaning. They have spiritual meaning, right? And they're opening realms where you're starting to connect with another higher energy. So when we're doing our namaz, and whatever we say, as much as I'm saying their surahs and their ayats, but they have a lot of strong meaning and energy attached, yes, and power attached to them. So we are technically, it's almost the same. It's almost the same, yeah. But it's there's a whole science behind prayer. And I think because we've been so distracted with worldly things and technology and phone and Instagram, and there was a period of time where it wasn't cool to be religious, and it wasn't cool to talk about spirituality, and it wasn't cool to be connected with your creator. So that era, which I think it's disappearing slowly.
Yeah.
In that era, people didn't want to think about this or talk about it. Now we're going into an era where people want to talk about it more. They're open-minded. They want to learn more. I think we should take this opportunity to research these things more, because there is a science behind why we do what we do, why we pray, why we connect ourselves to our creator, and why we meditate, and why we isolate ourselves for some time, and we try to almost connect our inner being with the higher energy, the higher power.
This is a saying that came up on the show in one of our past episodes, where someone said that, we're so obsessed with reality that we don't understand that reality will actually begin after this reality ends. And then we realize that,
is this even real?
Yeah, that all this is a dream.
Yeah.
And you're just playing a part in the illusion.
Look, it's possible. We have to be open to all these things.
Words have power, paragraphs have power, poetry
Thoughts have power.
Language has power, especially ancient languages.
Yes.
I think what I was getting to with that question was about what was the word you said before dua? Like you bend down to the dua, but right before that, the paragraph?
The surahs?
Surahs.
Yeah.
So that would be inward, right? That you're taking it in, you're memorizing it. And duas are outward. Then you go back to doing something inward.
Something that you've already memorized. Duas are things that are coming out from your system, from your brain. So there's receiving, and then there's giving that happens.
While you're receiving, does any other thought enter your head?
Yes, of course. See, look, here's the thing about praying, right? And meditating. You have to have immense self-discipline and self-control, which is so hard to do as a human. And even like the deen, even the religion tells you this, that when you're praying, it is probably one of the most hardest things, because you have to be mentally so focused that your brain cannot go anywhere else. You can't be thinking about, what am I going to do today? What's the daily schedule? Or did I eat? Did I not eat? Did I switch off the light in the bathroom before or after? Is my friend going to call me? What am I going to do next week? You can't be thinking. You have to be only focused on that one thing, that moment you have with your creator. So how do you do that? As a human, when we are so multidimensional, most of us multitask. Our brains are running on 1,000 kilometers per hour. A lot of us have ADHD also. There's a lot of factors. So how do you do this? I'm sure when you meditate, you have a hard time tuning out too, right? For the full time that you're meditating. So what happens is you might tune out for a second, and then you bring yourself back again. It happens again. You bring yourself back again. And then you keep doing that until you're so disciplined, which is hard, but you work towards that. And once you're able to have that kind of mind control on yourself, imagine what all you can do in your life. in other departments, how much discipline and self-control you can have. So what you're doing is you're building on your character, you're building on your morals and values, and you're building on you as a human. When you're outside in the society, you're able to control yourself more. And you're probably able to sin less too. You're able to make certain decisions because you're controlling your mind better. You have more self-control. But it's a deep conversation. That's like a different episode altogether, because nobody's ever asked me this question. So this would be kind of new for a lot of people to hear me speak about this kind of topic. But definitely this could be a separate episode, because I think a lot of people are interested to know everything behind what we just discussed.
Prayer builds you up. That's what I truly believe.
It definitely builds you up, and it builds your faith. It solidifies your faith, and it creates a protection, a border around you. And many people have said this. There have been spiritual people who have said this. There have been scientists who said this. Many people say that prayer in a very mysterious way protects you spiritually.
Not everything has to be quantified or understood.
Of course, 100%.
It's just about experiencing
you can't
certain things.
see air, right? But it's there. You know what I mean? So,
hey, didn't expect that we'll go here, Nora Fatehi. We're almost
definitely.
at the
We
end.
can do a part 2 this year sometime.
We're almost at the end of the episode. It was really cool getting to know the human inside.
It was really nice. I'm really happy I came. I did not expect any of this. I thought we'd be talking about random stuff. I'm glad we went deep. I'm glad we spoke about certain topics that maybe other people would not feel comfortable speaking about. But, you know, I had a duty to be unfiltered coming here for you also, as much as you had a duty to ask me the right questions. And I hope people learned something today. I think one thing probably a lot of people will go home with, whether they agree with some of the things I say or not. And also don't forget, people's ideas change. Right? People's mental thoughts change, opinions change. Today, these are my opinions. I don't know what my opinions are going to be when I'm 45, right? Life changes you. You see things. Right now, this is who I am. And I think what people will take home is not to judge a book by its cover, and also to be more open-minded and to realize that people are not the same. People don't think the same. People don't live by the same values and thoughts, and to also be more sensitive.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack with you over the next few episodes, which will happen over the next few years. I hope to see you at least once every year. Because
I would love that. I didn't even know you were this great. I mean, I watched some of your stuff and I'm like, you're cool, you're fun, your stuff goes viral. But beyond that, it's deep. And I'm so glad I could find someone that could discuss the more deeper things, because I think that's what people want to know right now. Life is so hard. People are going through it, man. People are going through shit. And I think it's nice to have a moment and to discuss the deeper things.
On a more metaphysical level, you're simply helping a past version of yourself. That's the present version in another timeline.
Yeah, because I would have loved to see someone like me growing up.
When you were 20
Younger.
years old.
Yeah.
This is like the kind of shit that you wanted answered then. So I'm almost jealous of like the 20-year-olds who get access to not just this show, but
a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
The world of content.
Totally.
There's this increase in worldwide consciousness that everyone can sense. Some people view it as an increase in worldwide pain, but I think that's how meditation works. You have to face your pain, your trauma first until it starts getting better.
I agree.
So I think the earth is meditating at this point.
I think so too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nora Fatehi, thank you.
Thank you, sweetie.
This podcast was like meditation for all of us.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited to see how the internet uncovers more of you, because you have a lot to say.
Thank you,
I've not done justice to your experiences like in this conversation, but we have many more conversations.
100%. Whenever you need me, I'm here.
Thank you. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you, Nora.
Thank you.
That was the episode for today, ladies and gentlemen. The harsh truth is that I struggle to find English guests for this podcast. There's an infinite number of Hindi guests. And if the universe gifts us with an epic guest like this, I know for a fact that the English podcast is safe, at least for a little while longer. Today's conversation has just gotten over. Nora's just left my house. So I've not processed it completely. But all I can say at this point, since she's left, is that this was one heck of an inspiring lady. Myself, my team, we're all feeling a sense of inspiration. We're all feeling a sense of fire, and our energy isn't drained. That's Nora Fatehi's real energy that you've gotten a glimpse of in today's episode. She's going to be back on the show. Some epic TRS episodes are coming your way. Keep supporting. This podcasting journey is just getting started.